This is Eric Van Buskirk. I'm going to demonstrate uses of the bulk search applications that I've created using SEMrush's API. Right now I have two that are up and free. I think actually there's a third coming today. This one that you're looking at is to search for the top results for any particular domain. Rather than just looking at one, it lets you look at 15, and if there were no limits at all, it would let you look at 500. The key to all of this is multiple variables. When we look at one competitor domain or one domain we want to learn about, we're not getting as much rich data as if we look side by side in a spreadsheet for many. This field here is for the bulk search, the bulk domains. Here you would enter your API key. This is the database. You can use the international databases. This is the limit, up to 15. That's important because if you really just want to see the top 2 keywords that are ranking for this domain, then you can do that. It's going to return the highest volume first. Columns, probably no need to mess with that, but it's what will be returned. You can really just set the delay to 3 seconds. It has to do with how quickly it'll ping the server for the calls. The date, yes, you can do historic searches, but you do need to have a Guru account for that to work. And the reCAPTCHA here, which has this beautiful brand new Google CAPTCHA, which Google initiated because people were tired of looking at blurry numbers and they somehow think this is more fun. I don't know if that's true, but they want me to find a steak. So there's one, and oftentimes I can't make heads or tails of the food they're showing, but I'm going to guess this is steak, and I honestly am not sure. Apparently it is, because they don't think I'm a robot. So now if we go to some of the research, I'm not going to run these queries. I'll let you do that, but I want to show you the steps that I take to find actionable results from all of this. So I did this for garden landscaping or landscape gardening. And what I wanted to do is find some of the top ranking pages so that I could look for other keywords that also appear there. Another method would be to look for top ranking pages on what you know to be your competitors' websites about certain terms. So what we're going to be doing is looking for other terms that rank in addition on specific pages that talk about these broad terms that I want to get more keywords on, all about landscape gardening. So these are some I chose. So the next sheet over, I actually searched for these, and I did this in a module for searching the top ranking domains by keyword. That is, I believe, one of the modules that's up and free right now. Again, it's keyword and looking for the top ranking. I limited it to just the top 5 results to show up. So there are the different ones. These are the top 5 sites. And again, I'm looking for pages because your competitors are not things like Wikipedia. But can you find very rich keywords from a page on Wikipedia? Certainly. And you may not be as big as garden design, but you're going to find rich words here. You may also be able to add locations, for example, New York City or Philadelphia or a smaller place to the stem words or the core words here when you're doing your research. So the next step was to take these, and here's all the URLs that rank tops, stem words or the core words. And then I took this and I threw this into the module that looks like this. So now, instead of, again, just one search on one web page to find additional keywords and what is ranking on Google, I'm looking at many. I should mention here that when you look at these additional ranking keywords, the data coming from SEMrush, they look at everything that has a search volume of about 5 or more a month. So the really longer tail words are not going to appear as also being ranked for these pages. And again, be creative there. For example, if there's local intent that you're trying to get in here, just add the local word to these more national results that you're going to see. So I put those in, kept it at 15, put my API key, and did as I had shown earlier on with respect to the other fields that need to be filled out. So moving on to the next step here, here are the results from those pages. Now, this is where it gets interesting. These are other words that also appeared on those pages. And You're actually looking at a version that does not have a limit of 15. So you are a little bit limited there, and because of the limit of 15, my suggestion is to start with some terms that are not so hard to rank as these are, and something a little longer tail. You may even start, for example, with your local words, or you may start with pages from a less authoritative website to see what they can pull in here. So what you're seeing here are, as you go further down, the lesser volume ones are ones that you can probably rank for. I will say that when I work with my clients, I do use the ones that have no limits. So yes, you can go down into these words on these pages that are only 10 a month, and perhaps are more realistic if your website is not as competitive. But again, get around that by beginning with some more long tail words, which will return pages that you can examine that aren't quite as authoritative as the ones that this is pulling in now. Look at all these keywords that I have. Not only that, but they're appearing more than once. So if I look here, I sorted by the appearances. And this is where I actually spent an entire half hour of videos, 3 videos elsewhere on the website about LSI keyword research and LSI SEO. LSI means latent semantic indexing. It's very powerful. If you want to take things to another level, you don't have to look at things this way, but the fact that words keep appearing on different pages that Google ranks high for a core word means that it finds it very central to your core idea. Again, go look at the other videos if you want to learn more about that. But part of the research, you can't ignore this. Look at how many times it's appearing. And then also, of course, if you wanted to, you could filter out everything that didn't rank very high. These co-appearances are not as useful if they're ranking like 14. So, if you wanted to, you could sort again by how high it ranked. Now I'm going to take out the multiple appearances, and of course with that, the ranking, although I could just do an average, I guess, and it would help me understand how close it is to that core theme. And this is really one of the last steps, although I could use filters, or if you want, pivot tables to look at this in some different ways. But now I have the single most advanced or sophisticated or rich set of keywords that you could possibly create. The only way this could be more advanced would be if you had looked at a larger set of landing pages. Again, your results are going to be words that may be too competitive if you choose really authoritative sites and you're limiting to 15. So that's what you'd see. But you are going to get tons of ideas that are further down here. And the other thing that's really important when you do this is to think about how hard it is to rank using a few metrics. One, CPC. Well, people are paying, wow, why would they pay so much just for landscape? That's a little bit odd, versus something that has more intent to it, like front yard. And then looking at competition, but also importantly looking at if your competitors rank for it. If these websites that we first found, if you're really a big player in landscape architect, and in the world of landscape architecting, then if they're ranking for those terms, that means you can also rank. So seeing these words here and knowing in some of these other tabs who actually was able to rank for them, that is going to tell you a heck of a lot, because you should be comparing the authority and the trust and your familiarity with ranking with the other ones. But beyond knowing who else can rank, just ideas here. What are you going to use this for? Probably blog posts, building out content, getting rid of pages that are not relevant to your theme and making pages that are more relevant. My suggestion would be, pick a bunch of these words that are related and that are interesting and unique, and use them importantly in the pages. So that means obviously in the title, you might do something like this, but that's kind of long. But something like this, you might add some words that make it a little more clickbaity or a little more interesting. And then in the body, the places obviously where you would see Google thinking something is important to the H1 tag or the title tag, you could put some other words, because as you should know, Google likes to rank a lot of words from one page so long as it's rich in keywords and is longer in content. So you might find this front lawn has a few different words, and you might put them together because you like that idea, front yard design, front yard landscaping ideas, and they should be in the important places on the page, including the first paragraph, by the way, which is always an important place. You might actually decide to take a bunch of these and put them together, but focus on ranking in particular for one. I would say the best way to move forward with this is to make a content strategy guide. For many people, that would be a calendar. You might give even more specific information to the person creating this. When I've done the LSI research, and I've shown in the videos how to make that actionable, I've created something that's very logical and gave notes grouping together a whole bunch of words in the hopes of being semantically related, helping with the ranking. So that's another way to look at it. If you feel like you can constrict the writer in that way, or if the writer is an SEO and has that experience. That's all for this tutorial. Remember that the key here is looking at multiple variables side by side in the results. That's what makes this unique versus, for example, doing one search at a time in a tool. And if you have any questions about more advanced use of this kind of research or using this tool, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the free version. Thanks.